wear a swimsuit to the pool, you know.
So if you're married and you're at the pool, what are you supposed to wear?
Agbada.
Oh my word.
It's nothing we will not see on this social media.
Honestly.
Excuse me, she wore swimsuit. As in swim, okay, probably what they meant to say was probably the swimsuit was too revealing. Because it's those ones that look like pants. I don't know, Eddie, do you wear those things?
Okay. Do I?
Or have you ever, like after having married like this
a
with
bikini?
kids, yeah, bikini.
No, I haven't done bikini, but I do the normal full trunk.
It's almost the same thing. Is there any difference with the bikini and the swim trunk?
But what am I supposed to wear if I need to swim and get into the pool? Am I supposed to wear, like you said, or something?
I don't know how people do this. Some people might think I'm bush or something. I'm not woke, you know. But seriously speaking, I find it very awkward to see women with big backside wearing those bikinis.
Well, for me or for some people, it depends on your body size. There are ones that would fit you well. But if it's too revealing and you need to put on a tight, you do so.
No, I went
as much as you can package yourself
and then
when you're out there.
Exactly.
Fine. But that doesn't mean because you're married, you should be deprived of certain...
In fact, that was what they were telling Simi. And they forgot that this woman has 2 kids, you know. Is it 2? Yeah, 2 kids, I think. You know, she has given birth, you know, definitely you will see those stretch marks, you'll see the floppy tummy and all that. But those are things that comes with having babies. So why should we be ashamed of it?
We talked about body positivity the other
exactly.
time.
So I think it's just they're trying to body shame her. That's what I see from this whole thing. But I'm glad she came out to apologize to her fans that she should have done better. But I think it's sarcastic. I think she was just pulling their legs because what else do you expect her to wear on the pool party? Agbada or complete native? Well, for those people who enjoy doing it, fine. But me, I'm so shy. I don't like doing those things.
Okay, so that means you can't go swimming?
Of course I do go swimming. But what I do is I have a very big towel. As I am going into the pool, first the towel goes with me into the water. And then I just hang it on the, just beside the pool. And then as I'm coming out, it comes out with me too from the pool. I mean, I can't just imagine. I don't know if I'm going to change, but this is me. I don't like it. So I see ladies with big backside, they have the towel they were supposed to cover themselves with. There are kids all around. And then you just come out of the pool with that panty thing, and then you just walk around like you don't care. I mean, it's not a good sight. Seriously speaking, I don't know. So many will go for me, but this is me talking.
But there are a lot of swimming trunks. You have the ones that come like a short dress,
yes,
and all of
and
that.
then you can have covers that
exactly.
you can cover them.
Exactly. So it has to do with your body size. It's about time we know what fits and go for it.
And stop imitating the whites.
Exactly.
I see so many people, I think it's just trying to live like the whites. But it doesn't favor us, man. This is Africa, Vic. This is Africa. So that's not in our culture. But if we have to dress like that to swim, since we cannot wear our native to swim, we should be able to cover up now. Tie those things around the waist and all that. Even my son was so like, mommy, see. Mommy, my daughter, she was like, mommy, see. I said, move your eye. Well, what am I supposed to tell her? What am I supposed to tell her?
You have shawls. There are a lot of shawls
so
you can wrap around.
Seriously, it doesn't make sense. So Simi has come out to apologize to her fans.
That's the best thing she could have done.
Yes, she said she wished she knew better. So let's leave it at that. Please, they should not come for Simi. I love that lady so much. All right, we'll go on a very short break, and when we come back, we'll be introducing our guests as well as our topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
1 hour of your daily dose of news from around the world.
Whether it's a diplomatic breakthrough, a humanitarian crisis, or a scientific discovery, Global Digest gives you a deeper understanding of the world around you. Join me, Amma Marcus. Let's stay ahead of the curve with conversations that are shaping our planet at 11 a.m. on DSTV, channel 258, and on Star Times, channel 140. Global Digest, your window to the world's current affairs, only on Advocate Broadcasting Network.
Rebuilding trust. Manipulated and conned over time, Nigerians are confused about whom to believe. Trust is the foundation upon which organized progressive societies are built. Trust embodies important elements of life. This 5-letter word, trust, has a deep meaning for whom we are and what we have become. It means being transparent, reliable, understanding, sincere, and truthful. Without any of these elements at play, societies become chaotic and completely disorganized, while anarchy sets in. Lies, half-truth, and deception have created mistrust of the government and, by extension, impacted the everyday lives of the citizens. Many of the woes being witnessed in Nigeria today have evolved from a lack of or betrayal of trust. We must retrace our steps.
We have so many issues to deal with or to grapple with. Issues of economy, employment, poverty, and so forth and so on. And trust shouldn't be one of them.
The trust deficit is a huge problem between government and the government, individuals and their communities, politicians and their constituents, the armed forces and the civilian populations, private service providers and consumers, the courts and litigants, traditional rulers and their subjects, and even between religious institutions and their faithful. But how did we get here? And what should we do to rebuild these broken elements?
If you go to the market, I have witnessed it, where even the measuring board is indented that way so that it will appear full, but you're buying just half of what you're told is being displayed for sale.
Something went wrong. What, when, and how are issues needing interrogation, and these are the questions that this platform will regularly attempt to address and provide informed and cogent answers to. All human relations are based on trust. It is a hard thing to say you have lost faith in a system or humanity. When a house is defective, with leaky roof, broken walls, faded paint, and non-functional amenities, of course, the right thing to do is to fix it. Join me, Sani Mohammed, and others on this platform every week as we discuss ways to rebuild trust and put our house back in order.
In a world of overwhelming voices where everyone has different opinion on different issues, it is important that we bring the core issue to the fore. Join me, Nancy Banigo, on Softline as we lend our voices to inform and influence your thoughts and actions. This is not just mere talk, it is an invocative program that touches the core of our existence.
All right, thanks for being there and welcome back. So today's special episode is on fostering a growth mindset in special needs education. I want to start by acknowledging the challenges and trophies that comes with supporting students with special need. As educators, parents, and caregivers, we've all been there. The moment of frustration, the fears of uncertainty, the joys of breakthroughs. But what if we could cultivate a mindset that helps our students to embrace challenges, learn more failures, and unlock their unique potentials? A growth mindset is more than just a concept. It's a powerful tool that can transform the learning journey for our students. Today, we are joined by Mrs. Mbiake Travers, an expert in special need education, who will share practical strategies, inspiring stories, and valuable resources to help us support our students in developing a growth mindset. Let's explore this journey together. with empathy and understanding, and a commitment to making a positive mindset, positive impact. All right, Mrs. Tamers, don't think I'm going to call you that other name. I'm going to jump it. Eddie is not going to see me this time. How are you, Mrs. Tamers?
Oh, I'm great. I'm great. I'm as good as a fiddle. I'm great.
That is nice to hear that.
The way she said she's as good as a fiddle, what do you think she meant?
Exactly what it means, Nancy. I'm not sure you want us to do that on air.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so Mrs. Tamers, I know this is your passion, but I want to start like this. If you can give us a practical example or experience you've had with any child with a special need among your, your kids, yeah, that has overcome challenges and was able to foster, this growth mindset. What was it you did to help this child, and how did it all happen?
Okay, thank you very much. Before I answer that question, it's imperative that we understand what a mindset is and then what a growth mindset is.
Right.
Yeah, because if there is a growth mindset, definitely there'll be a mindset that is not a growth mindset, which is the fixed mindset, popularly, yeah. Okay. So a mindset is, in my own definition, it's your psychological and mental state. The psychological and mental state. Okay. So you have the growth mindset and you have the fixed mindset. So for the purpose of this discourse, we're talking about the growth mindset. Yeah. So the growth mindset is simply the mindset that says, I can, I shall, and I will. That's no limitation, beyond limits. While the fixed mindset is, oh, this is how it is. This is the status quo. These are the limits for your particular type of person. This is the limit on you. Yeah. So for kids with special needs, kids with special needs already have the societal limits placed on them because they say, oh, because you have these, or maybe because you're dyslexic, this is how far you can go. Because you're autistic, so they are not even the ones placing the limits. It's the society. It's every other person that is placing the limit. So unfortunately, some of them just come and say, okay, this is the limit, and they don't want to go further. Now, so what is a growth mindset for a child with special needs is not what is a growth mindset for a regular child. Kids. They have two different, because this other one probably doesn't have any limits placed, while this other one comes with default limit placed. So for me, I work with kids with dyslexia, autism, Down syndrome, hyperlexia, all of it, name it, learning disabilities and special needs, intellectual disabilities and developmental delays. Now, there's always an example I like using, and that's why I like using it is because it's particularly touching for me. It was the dyslexic boy I had to work with. He came to school, I always repeat that story a lot. He came to school, and dyslexia is a language processing disorder. That means this child has issues with challenges rather with schoolwork. It's just schoolwork. It's not, it's just schoolwork that's he goes well with every other aspect of life, but schoolwork. So most teachers just let them be. Even the parents, like, your head is only good for carrying luggages. It's not good for assimilating.
And all
it's only so. When I had this child and the mom said, oh, this child has been repeated in one class for like 4 or 5 years. And I said, okay, the first thing we are going to do is that we are going to promote the child. That was the first psychological break he had. So we promoted him, and then we started the spelling bank for him. We started the morning drills and all of that for him. Then I decided to start picking him up to school. Why did I do that? So that we'll have enough time to talk. Again, that we spelt everything we found. Then I'll take him to the secretariat. The first word we picked was ministry. So every day we have to pass through the secretariat. We'll pull over like 1-2 seconds. He'll spell. By the time he was able to spell ministry, my young man believed he can spell any other word, and that was the beginning. He stopped. He moved from being
withdrawn and
not even the last in class, and was now actually looking forward to challenging regular kids. And when the father saw his result, the father said, Mrs. Thomas, this can't be his result. I said, do you want to assess him right here? He had, and now he left us to another school. And the school, they don't even want to believe this boy was struggling with all these things because they met a different package. So.
So in this case now, what was it you did exactly that, helped him?
First, positive affirmation. Second, I created an environment for him to thrive. Third, I allowed him to know that it was okay if he didn't get the spelling that time. Failing simply means first attempt in learning. So I thought it's okay for us to try it and try until you get it. I never let him know that I was tired of. Even though sometimes he will give me spellings and I wonder where he got it. You can say spell car and he starts QFJ. But he wasn't sure. I made sure I was his greatest cheerleader and his biggest fan. And we celebrated every win.
Well, this story is quite inspiring. I love the story. But then, why do you think it's essential, this growth mindset in special needs children?
It's everything they need to move forward. Because already, remember, there are silent and loud limitations on them already. Okay. From everywhere. Sometimes even from the immediate family. So the ability to know that they can move from here to here, they can actually become, it's everything they need to push against this prejudice. It's everything, it's mental power. The man is the mind. Finish.
Inspiring.
Yeah. So, because this seems to be a one-on-one kind of thing. It's not. Can you handle them generally as a group?
No. For me, I advocate differentiation. I advocate inclusive. I advocate individualized education plan. That is what we do in our school, because even amongst regular kids, no two children have the same needs.
Exactly.
So for every child, that's why we keep the class size small. So we have enough teachers, and we do differentiation and the IEP scheme.
Okay.
So every child has, even amongst regular children, they have their own targets. It's not the same. Even though we have a general scheme of work, general curriculum, but we allow them work at their own pace, but going towards the same goal.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So my next question is, we know most of these special needs children, even though we don't like to say it, but they do have these challenges.
Yes.
In lots of them sometimes. Yes. Now, we know you provide support for these children. So how then do you balance it, Because sometimes you want to provide the support, then how did you give them the chance, to challenge themselves to want to do better?
Okay, beautiful. I always say this. For me, when I'm working with them, I don't celebrate. Fine, there are people that do it, but personally, I'll rather celebrate the processes rather than the outcome.
The results, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So when you celebrate the results, a child that is going through the process and is coming along will feel discouraged, because if you are celebrating just the kids that have gotten the results, so I celebrate the process. So from process A, I'm clapping, I'm waving, I'm dancing. Okay. Like with Thomas, process B, I'm ready. We do that.
So step by step, you take
yes, sometimes I even tell them it's okay if you don't get this. I want to look at how you moved towards this. So it's okay if you don't get this. Let me see what's the effort, how you are progressing.
But there will eventually be results at the end.
Yes, definitely. But when they know that it's okay to fail, try again, that we are celebrating the processes.
This goes to regular kids too, because celebrating the process instead of the goal. I think
the efforts
for every child.
Yes, for every child we do that. For every child.
You should go for every child.
Now, why that is sometimes disadvantageous is that what if you are working with a child that has hyperlexia?
Okay.
Hyperlexia is when a child can read, write, and spell far above his chronological age without understanding the concepts, the meaning, nothing. So this child, is easier for the brain to take this child from the question to the solution. The child does not understand this. The process at all. So that question to the thing here is blank, and this is where you need the work to be done. Yes.
And so how do you do that work? Because I'm getting curious here.
Yeah, because that's why I do a lot of instructions. We do a lot of discovery. I allow them learn.
So the hyperlexia children and the dyslexia children, you put them together?
They are in the same class if they are within the age bracket. That's why I say we do an individualized educational plan. At the process of admissions, schools should do an assessment. At the process of admission. So silently, behind the scene, the whole work is done behind the scene. You know how to sort them out. The class teacher knows Definitely, you need to announce it to the kids
Exactly.
that you know which child, you know their strengths, you know. So you just give them small groups within invisible groups within the class, and you know how to work with them.
Okay.
Yes. So when he moves, that's how it is.
Okay. Can we really, you know, for instance, you can say, when moving through the process, you can say you start with, you give it a name, maybe acknowledging that this is it, you know. Then you move to this second step of appreciating, you know,
Okay.
like those steps, like, I don't know if you get my
No,
point.
I don't.
Okay, the process is now,
Okay.
where does it start from? Where does it move to, like, and then how many of those steps or the processes do we have to actually achieving the results?
It depends on the child. I always work with the child. I'm child-centered in my approach to
Okay.
education.
Okay.
I'm child, so there's no blanket this thing.
Oh, it depends
Each
on
child.
the
There's a child that the
individual's
first process
ability.
will be even opening the mouth. There's another child that the first process is even lifting up the head to look at you.
Okay.
Meanwhile, there's another child that comes because of the home is supportive and conducive enough. He comes into the class with his mouth first. That child is not shy. He walks into, so it's going to be different breakthroughs for them. This other child can't even raise his head. So that's your first challenge. How do you, that's why when the kids talk to me, I say, look at Mrs. Thomas in the eye. And they drop it. I said, no, make eye contact with Mrs. Thomas. Look at me in the eye.
Okay, so eye contact is key.
Okay.
So there are kids that don't even do that. They're always dropping, covering. So for that child, that's our first breakthrough. I'm like, you are handsome. Why would you look down? You're so handsome. Can you look? I say, I love you. Tell Mrs. Thomas, I love you too.
Wow. Okay, so I love these strategies. But are there feedback strategies you use in, you know, promoting, or you can use as indicators, like for, I don't know how I'm going to put it now, but like you said, making an eye contact with you is one of those things. A child, for instance, a child that comes into your facility now and doesn't do that, and by the time you keep telling the child to do this, and then after a while the child starts doing it. Now this is a feedback coming from that child. Is an improvement from that child.
Yes.
Now, how do you measure these feedbacks? You know, I mean, each child comes with their own different problems. So how
Not problems.
sorry, challenges. Unique challenges.
Yes, challenges.
Okay, so how do you measure feedback to be able to ascertain growth in a particular child?
Okay, for example, the first day the child maybe looks at me, I want to make sure that he's gotten it permanently. So I allow it time. Like for kids, repetitive instruction is key.
Okay.
So I allow it time. He keeps doing it over some time, and target. And once that target is met, they start shifting things. They are done. So once you keep that, you help keep them focused for as long as that target has not been met. And then when you finish and you want to, sometimes you want to exceed your period. Mrs. Thomas, you have finished what is animal. That means the class is over. You should be going for that day.
Oh, goodness.
They're done with you for that day.
Okay, so what strategy, you just said something, that what strategy, in order not to get this kind of a result from the children, what strategies should teachers use?
I already understand that is their strength and everything, that they can't stay put. So that's why I'm bringing that strategy, that we are writing it down, so that
as soon as you're done,
they concentrate all their mental energy to finish that. And once they are done, Mrs. Thomas,
okay, now I understand.
we have finished what you wrote on the board.
Time to go.
Time to go.
Honestly, I'm just imagining how, but it's actually a tedious act. So I must commend you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I must commend in doing this. But on the whole, just generally put us through dealing with these children.
Yeah, as a caregiver, educator, parent, when you're dealing with kids with special needs and learning disabilities, they need lots of empathy, lots of support. Even regular kids, they need lots of support. They need lots of empathy. They need you to create an enabling environment, because sometimes it's not that they cannot do, but the environment is not conducive enough. Yes. So sometimes give them challenges to work on. There are certain times I give the kids, I know they can't do it. They may not be able to, but I give it to them, let them go try it. And sometimes you'll be so shocked that they'll have that breakthrough and come back. You're like, how did you do it? When you originally thought they can't do it.
Yeah.
The mind of the child, the brain of the child, there's something in neuroeducation we call brain plasticity. That means the brain of the child is capable of expanding. It can expand to unimaginable widths and heights. Yes. That's why you can never say never. Yeah.
Yeah, talking about empathy, this can be found in a privately owned school, and it could be better upheld because as the owner of a school or in a private school where you know the teachers are being put in check, you could actually, but what about the children in the government school?
Yeah.
Talking about empathy.
That's why
this is very key.
Teacher training and retraining should never be missing in our schooling system.
It just crossed my mind.
Teacher training and retraining should never be missing. You offer lots of empathy, but then unfortunately, what people offer these children is sympathy, which they don't need. So you don't offer sympathy.
Markets with conversations that are shaping DSC channel 258 and on StarTime channel 140. Global Digest, your window to the world's current affairs, only on Advocate Broadcasting Network.
No matter wetin I see, enough fit make mouth heavy to talk am. That's now why people dey talk.
You know wetin dey worry you, but you no go fit take help yourself.
In this kind of situation now, what if they really no talk to una? Wetin be the way forward?
They go bury our chairman on Thursday. We go remain here.
Make we talk good where we dey see good, and where we know say we not dey see good, make we also dey talk am.
No woman, no mother deserve to know the grave of his child.
The bank manager, the bank executive, they are the one the government should first pay.
People They Talk, the show on Monday to Friday by 5 p.m. on top ADBN TV.
All right, thank you for being there and welcome back. So we're still discussing fostering growth mindset in special need children. But I want to move a little bit away from special children now and go to the regular kids, When we talk about fostering mindsets, how can we go about it? What are those things we should do to encourage growth mindset in children?
Okay. First of all, you must let the child know that the child can be and do anything he or she wants to be or do. That is it. No, there's no limitation to what the child can be. There's no limitation to who the child can become. Nothing defines the success or failure of that child more than what you put in the mind, what you keep. Success comes by hearing. So as a teacher, say the right thing. As a parent, say the right thing. As a caregiver, say the right thing. And you see amazing results from a child that you think could not. You see the child doing and even surpassing your expectation. So even for regular kids, that's why for me as a school administrator, it's a crime, it's a sin for you as a teacher to tell a child what's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with the child. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the child. For me, I don't even encourage teachers to tell the child, maybe a child answers a question. You don't say that's wrong.
That's wrong. It's a very common saying.
There are kids that don't have the mental strength to want to push or say some other thing. They just, yes, yeah, just very few kids. Like, that's wrong. I can say something correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so you don't say that's wrong. You say, do you have some other things to say? Is there any other thing you want to add? Then the child would want to bet. So there are certain things that in fostering growth mindset as a teacher, as a caregiver, even as a parent, you don't say to a kid. Like I get teachers saying the child is a slow learner or a lazy learner, have not been able to have never been able to understand that sentence, because for me, no child is a lazy learner. Remember, these children are wired differently. Remember, these children have different makeups. So what makes this other one? Are you assessing the kids based on what this child can do? So for me personally, no child is a slow learner. No child is a lazy learner. Just allow the child.
Every child runs so he's so happy.
Yeah, yes. I remember one time I went for open day in my child's school, and then I was worried with my child's results. So I was so worried that I asked the teacher, is it the last? Does it have the poorest result in the class? I wanted to know, because everything I saw was just like the teacher was indirectly complaining to me. So if the teacher is complaining to me, you can imagine me, the parent, what I was feeling at that point. So I wanted to know if my child's case was the worst in that class. And the woman said, don't worry, madam, he's not the worst here. We still have two.
Oh my God.
We still have two that are
so unprofessional.
Worse than he is. Oh goodness. When she made that comment, it didn't really hit me the way it did when I go home. I was like, at first I was like, okay, so he still has hope if he's better than some. But when I go home, I realized that teacher has a problem. For just that comment she made, and I began to see a different human being in her. She wasn't willing to put in efforts. She had already drawn her conclusions. So I felt my child would not even excel in that kind of a class. And it was a school where they were so concerned about position, awarding position. You came first, you came second, you came third. And the child would go to school for the first time. He was unable to meet the first 5, 1 to 5 position. and he comes home, he tries for the second time, and then he gives up that there's no need, because it's as if the teachers don't even like me. So I want you to now tell me, giving positions in class, like numbering position, you came first, you came second, is that the way to go? I see sometimes it enables students to want to put in more effort to like come first, but I see in other students too, it also weakens them, you know, makes them want to like give up and say, okay, I leave it for
this person.
Yes.
Yeah.
So is it the way to go?
For me personally, for the early kids, I don't advocate position, because it's not even a true test of knowledge. What if the child that came 5th, that day was a bad day? He didn't just want to try. I remember what happened when I was in secondary school, right? There was this particular girl that used to come first. So everybody just said, this is your trophy.
Yeah.
Take it as long as you're in this school. So we didn't even bother. But I don't know, for whatever reason, that term I decided to read. As in, I decided to like just read. And then when they announced, because my school I schooled in FGGC Boko. So then they used to announce, yes, first 5 and last 5. They used to announce that, first 5 and last 5. And then I didn't even go to the assembly that day. And my friends were like, they used to call me TK. They couldn't pronounce my name, Biatke.
Okay.
So they said,
you have an excuse.
I now had them say, TK, you came first. Even me, I was laughing. I said,
okay.
But that was the last time, trust me, she took first till we left school. That was the last time she had that opportunity to be first, because every other person was after that, some other person became first. After, it was as if a jinx was broken. So we knew this thing, she didn't bring it from her father's house. It was just she being a more studious child than the rest of us. Okay. Because once the 10 starts, she had started reading. Some of us are still playing. So by the time I brought that, they said, everybody started reading, and the position started rotating around different people. And the people that were people that just came last 5, once you announce their name, they'll clap for themselves, as in they were comfortable with it. But they started pushing. Everybody was pushing for that. So for me, as an educator, early childhood educator, I don't advocate for the position thing. It's not even a true test of knowledge. It's not a true test of knowledge for me, for these early kids. Why don't you do an assessment instead of a standardized test? Why don't you do an assessment? Oh, like what I do in our own school is we say, okay, when we tell parents at the end of the term, we say, when this child came, this child could spell 5 words. At the end of the term, this child, and then as a matter of fact, we always have like 50 words, 50 new words each term. So we now tell parents, okay, at the end of this term, out of the 50 words, this child has spelled 30. Is that not
a good? Yeah,
that's a good. Yes. So for me, for the early children, I don't personally advocate positions, even though it has its own advantage. But yeah, for this early kids, knowing that I work with kids, I run an inclusive system. And then for me, I don't just do, when I'm assessing kids in my school, I don't just do schooling. I don't assess schooling. I assess schooling and education. I assess cognitive, affective, and the psychomotor. So if you are doing the position, it's impossible, almost impossible for one child to get it right here, cognitive.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, it's almost impossible.
But you know, some teachers are not so particular about that psycho skill motors.
Which is even more important.
Yeah, so some just, I know that some just award those grades.
There are even teachers that once it's that child's result, they don't even bother going through to spot out,
they already have their judgments on it.
Yes.
You know, because when I get my children's result and go there, sometimes what I see is not it doesn't reflect who my child is. At least I know my children. So I'm asking myself, did they actually assess this child, or they just you know,
just tick.
Yeah. And this is so common in the government schools. You know, when teachers are overwhelmed, not overwhelmed, but they're not just interested.
Yes.
And then you have a large size of students to mark their test script and enter scores. So when it gets to that, you just
in fact, they mark according to your previous performance.
Yeah,
they just look at it, this one.
Then some based on the relationship they have. Okay, maybe they just like you, you know. So they don't care about your weakness. They're giving you all the strengths. And then where it's obvious, they'll say, just because they like you, they wouldn't want you to have anything negative. I think something needs to be done about that.
Yeah, so for me as a parent, even my kids, I look at their questions. I look at the answers and I will spot out, trust me, I spot out errors. Even like, you shouldn't have framed this question like this. Even when I get their textbooks, I look at it. Okay. And I've had one or two occasions that I had to call the publisher and said, this is not correct. And like, oh, we just published that, means they didn't even also go through that textbook. Exactly. Like, no, there's something wrong, this is not it. So it's everyone to be careful. Let's look down and see what we are.
Okay, so now since the positioning you said it's not so good, what other tools or resources do you use or do you recommend for teachers and parents, to use in assessing growth mindsets? Okay, for me, for teachers, I say, please, let's do a lot of formative assessments. There are two types of assessments. Okay. That's the formative and the summative. The formative is the test that goes on within before the end of term. A lot of people put more emphasis on the summative, the end of term result, and leave. Remember now, the formative is the process. This is the process, those classroom tests, class activities, that's the formative. So a lot of people just leave this formative and concentrate here, which is the result. So let's put more emphasis on
the formative process.
The formative. There are children that are very good with rote memorization. They can pick the whole textbook and drop it in their heads. Once they release it, they have no understanding of what they just did. Yes, especially there's an autism spectrum that the kids are exceptionally good with
cramming,
rote memorization. So the whole textbook is in their head and they have no idea what the book is talking about. So would you say that child that has given it to you word for word because of his advantage of rote memorization, is he smarter than this other child that understands the process even though he may not get? And remember that learning is natural. It's only teaching that is not natural, but learning is natural. For a child that understands the process, you may not get the result here. But because you've understood the process, maybe 3 days after, outside the class, learning takes place, it now clicks. Something happens, it clicks. This is what we're talking. And you have consolidated the learning. But when the assessment was going on, all you understood was the process. Would you say that that child is smarter than this other one?
There's a whole lot of problems when it comes to
this other child has understanding. And remember that they say that education is what you still remember long after you've forgotten what you learned in school. So this other child has gotten an education. He can apply it to life situation because he understands it. This other one just had a schooling because of his exceptional skills in rote memorization. He leaves that class, he's forgotten everything he was taught in that class.
Even before he leaves the class.
Even before he left, immediately after the exams, he's discarded it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is one of the tools you recommend. Are there still more?
Lots of, I said lots of formative, lots of positive words. Create an environment for the child to fail. Okay. It's okay to fail. Let them know. There's nothing wrong with failing.
This is so difficult to take.
But that's the way.
Yeah, it is. But I don't know how. I think it starts from the parents.
Yes, beautiful.
So how do we drum this into the ears of the parents to know
to allow the children to fail?
Yeah,
it's okay to fail.
Because these children are so worried, the fear,
the pressure from parents,
from home. So how do we let parents know that it's okay for your child to be who he or she is? Let them just be. Follow them, encourage them, let them gradually get to what you want them to be. That it's a process.
Yes.
How do we start doing this?
By constantly doing what we are doing, like right now, telling them. Like we just said it, and the story of this guy comes to my mind, this neurosurgeon, what's his name now, that did the
Ben Carson?
Ben Carson. Ben Carson, he struggled. He was a struggling child. If not for his mother, maybe he would have grown up in the streets of, he would have just been an anybody.
Exactly.
But he needed, the mother kept re-emphasizing it. You can do this, you are, that was, look, that's just fostering a positive mindset in a nutshell. She's given us what it means. Apart from Ben Carson, let's look at Richard Branson. Richard Branson is the owner of Virgin Atlantic. Dyslexic, but yet one of the richest men on earth. Can you beat that? I'm sure somebody somewhere had told him it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. If you can't get it in class, you can get it somewhere.
Exactly.
Let's look at Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein is one of the greatest brains that has ever lived. Albert Einstein was autistic and dyslexic, and he's one of the greatest inventors of our time. He was so smart that when he died, they stole his brain.
Are you
Imagine
serious?
stealing the brain of a dead man. They wanted to know. But yet, imagine this man was a man with special need and a learning disability. Yet he's one of the greatest scientists that has walked planet Earth.
You know, when you talk about allowing the child to fail, sometimes it's not just from the parent too, even the child, because sometimes it breaks them. You know, I had a discussion with my son this afternoon where he told me that somebody who was, they went for lessons, you know, for common entrance lesson. And he told me, Mom, do you know somebody who, we had a student who's not one of us, but she failed common entrance. So she had to write with us. And I feel so ashamed for her. That was his comment. I feel so ashamed. I said, why? Why do you feel like that? I said, writing with people you're older than. You know. And so when he said this, I was like, the first thing that came out of my mouth, you see why you need to work hard so you don't fail.
That remark was very bad. That remark was very bad.
You put unnecessary pressure on him now.
Exactly. That remark was very bad.
Now, I flew, let's flow with the rhythm. That was exactly what I did. Because I gave him what he wanted to hear. Probably if I had gone the other way, it would have maybe demoralized him or something. So I just let it flow because I saw the could I say joy, like
that he has found someone he's better than or something.
No, not really like that it can't be him.
Okay.
That confidence in him that it can't be me. I just saw that confidence in his face, so I didn't want to make him feel somehow, so I just allow see why you shouldn't.
So for me, I see it as a reflection of the pressure you're putting on him.
Yeah, you put a pressure on him already.
You put a pressure on him already. So it's the reflection of that. So he's trying to see, let you know that, okay, I think I'm doing better than someone. You know, honestly, these are things we need to be conscious about as parents.
Yeah, I think if you had told him, oh, it's okay to.
Yeah.
It's okay to, I'm sure she'll do better this time.
Yeah.
I'm sure she'll do better this time. That's why in class, when kids answer a question and it's not correct, it's a taboo for any class teacher to allow a child to laugh. You don't laugh, you don't.
You know, Miss Thomas, each time you come to this place, it's as if you are from another planet, another world. You know, because you come and you say the opposite of things that really happens in many schools.
You don't laugh at all.
Because it's like a norm. It's like a normal thing for children to want to laugh. Yeah, would you?
No, they know it. My school, they know it. You don't. You explain to the whole school why you are laughing. I had a child that had a habit of when people are talking, he will stand behind. So I now taught him, and I made him teach the whole school. If it's not your business, what do? Grab your water bottle, drink water, and mind your business. So now, once the kids see you trying to eavesdrop, they'll say, grab your water bottle, drink water, and mind your business.
Oh my goodness.
No, you don't laugh. Why are you laughing? What's funny?
Yeah, this is very
not
good
funny.
upbringing for the children and
what's
for the
funny?
society
Why
at
are
large.
you laughing?
All right. Thank you so much, Mrs. Thomas, for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
But before
It's
you go,
always a pleasure.
I would like you to give what message you will have to share with our audience about the power of growth mindsets, you know, and then especially when it comes to special education.
Okay. I think this is the most popular words that come out of my mouth, and everyone that knows Mrs. Thomas will know this. If you can't be the sun, be the star. Just be the best of whatever you are.
The sky is wide enough for everybody.
Too wide.
All right. Thank you so much, Mrs. Thomas.
Thank you. It's a
and
pleasure.
Send our love to those wonderful children
I sure
of yours.
will. I sure will.
I hope someday we'll have them here to give us some kind of special presentation.
Yes. Not even presentation, they'll do some great job here.
Oh, really?
They'll do some great job
that
here.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Eddie, we have to go.
Yeah, you know, like I always say, it's always something to look forward to on ADBN TV. Imagine talking about the growth mindset to that. I'm sure you have learned something out there. I have learned something, and I am willing to do better than what I've been doing. Thank you, Mrs. Thomas.
It's a pleasure.
Always. Yes. Anytime you come here, like she said, we learn so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today. From all of us in the studios, bye-bye, and thanks for watching.
Yeah.
ADBN, Advocate Broadcasting Network.
No matter wetin I see, enough fit make mouth heavy to talk am.